Hi, this is Mr. Lyons. This is the second video where we're analyzing parabolas with the vertex at the origin. So when they want us to analyze in the book, analyze the equation of a parabola, what they want us to do is find the key features or locate the key features of the parabola and also graph it. And so those key features are going to be the vertex. We have y squared is equal to 10x here, so the vertex is going to be 0, 0, or the origin at the origin. So let's put that in there. That a little better here, okay. And then we are going to locate the focus and the directrix. That means we have to find what A is, so we're going to take this equation, we're going to solve for A. So we know that the form of the equation is y squared is equal to 4a times x. And so, therefore, in this case, 4a has to be equal to 10. And so we're going to divide by 4 on both sides. We get 10 over 4, or 5 halves. For A, which is 2.5. So we're going to go ahead and plot in our focus at 2.5 from the vertex, and our directrix is also 2.5 in the opposite direction from the vertex, and that is going to be negative 2.5. Give that one another try here. Okay. And so now we need to find a couple more points on this parabola so that we can plot it. So we're going to go ahead and I like to find actually the latus rectum, which is going to again be points that are located at plus or minus 2a from the focus. And so plus or minus 2a is going to be plus or minus 5. Since our focus is at 2.5, 0, our 2 points are going to be at 2.5, 5, and 2.5, negative 5. So let's put those in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, approximately, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to go ahead then and plot our parabola. Like this. Go ahead and draw in our directrix at x equals negative. Fix that. X equals negative 2.5. Negative. Okay. We want to also list what our focus and vertex are. So our vertex is going to be at the origin here, and our focus, capital F, is at 2.50. So as you can see here, we could also have a negative sign in front of the 4a multiplier of x. That means that our parabola is going to open to the left instead of the right. That moves the directrix obviously over to the other side of the vertex or to the right of the vertex. The focus would be to the left of the origin or the vertex here. We can also have equations of parabolas of the form x squared equals 4a times y, or x squared is equal to negative 4a times y. That's going to be parabolas that open upward or open downward, as you can see below the table here. So for instance, if we have an equation where x squared is equal to negative 8y, Then we're going to have a parabola that opens downward because we have a negative in front of the 4a multiplier. The a is obviously going to be 2, and we can find all the key features then if we know what a is, and graph the parabola. I'm going to leave that one to you. How about this kind of problem? It says find the equation of the parabola that has a focus at 0, -12, and a directrix at y equals 12. So that means that a is going to be equal to 12, isn't it? So let's go back here. And so our a is equal to 12. We have a parabola where the focus is below the origin, the directrix is above the origin, so this is going to open downward, which means that we have an equation where x is squared. It's going to be negative in front of our 4a multiplier because it opens downward. And so the equation here is x squared is equal to -4 times 12 minus y, and so x squared is equal to a -48y is the equation of our parabola. And then I'm going to leave the graph to you. I think we've practiced that enough here on the video. We could also see a problem that looks like this. Find the equation of a parabola with the vertex at 0, 0. And they give us a point this time on the parabola at -1, -4. So I'm going to quickly put those points here on this coordinate plane. So we have our vertex again at 0, 0. And our point that's on the parabola is at -1, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So right down here. So that's going to be a parabola that opens downward, which means that we have an x squared parabola. So the form of the equation is going to be x squared is equal to 4a times y. But since it opens downward, we're going to have a negative in front of our 4a, aren't we? And so how do we find the a? Well, since we know one of the points on the parabola satisfies that equation, the point -1, -4 will satisfy this equation. So we're just going to plug in -1 for x, and -4 for y. Then we're going to go ahead and solve this. So we have -1 squared, which is a +1, and -4 times -4 is a +16 times a. So a is going to be equal to 1 over 16 here. Very small a. And if you remember our discussions in previous chapters about transformations, that makes sense that we would have if we have a small multiplier of y on the right side here, when we would move it over to the other side in front of the x squared, we get a larger multiplier, which means we have a vertically stretched parabola, don't we? So I'm not going to go any further with graphing this. I think you have the idea there. So next video we're going to actually analyze parabolas with vertex at HK instead of at the origin. So I'll see you then.